What's up, guys? I'm just going to show you what I'm doing here on this property. There's a 100-acre tract of land. There's a driving range here. I'll probably sprinkle some clover on that driving range, especially out here at the far reaches of it. There's a campground. The campers are all up that way. This is a river with a lot of bottomland. This is all wetland in here, real thick. Deer love to bed right along in here. I explored all through there. You can barely make it through. It's so thick. So we don't need to create any bedding cover. We already have it. This is a big stand of aspen with a lot of brush underneath it. The deer are really cutting through there a lot. So there's an old fallow field you can see going all the way around. And what I found out the hard way was where you can see this stain here, it's all wet. And if you watched the video about where the truck got stuck, that got stuck right here. So that makes sense because it looks wet on the satellite image. So what I'm going to end up doing, this is about 5.8 acres, this is 1.3, and this is a little over 1. I'm going to make a clover plot here, clover chicory. This is going to be my spring mix all the way through here. I'm going to have to do it in June when things are a little more dry. And then in the fall, see what's happening with the spring mix. You know, if there's quite a bit of land there, so we'll have to see what happens. If the deer eat it all up, which I don't think they will, we'll replant it. Otherwise, we'll try to stick with the soybeans and then sprinkle some fall food plot mixes into the soybeans. It's going to be a cowpea soybean predominant mixture. It'll have, you know, I went over it in another video, but it'll have sunflowers and phacelia, cabbage, you know, African cabbage. And then in the fall, we'll do brassica, winter wheat, and winter peas. Now, whether I drill that in or not depends on what shape the food plot's in at that point. Right now, we have goldenrod pretty much everywhere. So if you're up in the northern PA, southern New York, anything that's fallow is going to be goldenrod and grass. So we mowed it, put lime on it so far. We're short on micronutrients and some other things, so, and the pH is down around 5.8, so we put 2 tons to the acre on until we got stuck. So none of this has lime, but all this does, all through here. I don't know whether he limed here or not. I left, and hopefully you got some lime on there. So we may have to revisit the liming situation later. Okay, and then I'll try to take some video of what's happening with this thing. I'm going to get some fertilizer that has micronutrients in it to build up the microbes. They're very low right now. I don't have enough sulfur, copper, manganese. Needs more. So, and the calcium ratio should be better now. Now that we spread some lime. So there should be enough calcium at this point. I'll retest it when things thaw out in the spring. See where we're at and make some adjustments. Now, this is going to be fallow all through here. This is all good cover. The deer like to bed all along here in the grass on the edge of this woods. And there's some old apple trees, like crab apples. I call them thorn apples. They have great big thorns on them. They're always bedded in here until you start hunting, and then they leave. Now, they probably go next door. There's a housing development over here, and they probably go over into these woods. This is corn on corn every year. The guy does a pretty good job of combining, so there's very little corn left in the fall, but deer do go out there and try to pick whatever's left. And he also has a pretty nice wood lot here. So that's the situation. Deer can go up and down this river bottom, but there's not a lot of woods around there. So we're going to try to create a great place to feed. And once we do that, most of the deer that are cruising up and down or living, there's a mountainside over this way. We might be able to draw deer from this mountain and these woods up in here. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to sign off for now, but I'll update you on this project. Follow along, see what's happening, and we'll look at some other projects too. I want to try and create videos that show specific projects so you know kind of what I do, what consultants do, you know, not just me, but everybody. Every property is different. This one, like I say, it doesn't need any cover because you got cover already. But what we don't have is food. Once this corn's gone, there's nobody plants soybeans. There's no food plots anywhere. There's nothing to eat. The deer are up in this. These trailers aren't here anymore. But the deer are walking around in this housing development and looking for something to eat. They're really hungry. So we're going to try to help them out. And we should be able to create an area that maybe would hold 25 or so deer without being too crowded, and try to hunt it by staying out of this bedding area. And the wind is generally going this way for some reason. It's kind of weird, but it almost always is blowing across the field in this direction. So the best place to hunt is along this tree line. And that's probably what we're going to end up doing, unless we maybe, I'll probably try to break this field up with some switchgrass, and we may end up putting a blind or two in here that if the wind's right you can climb into and wait for deer to come out to feed. All right, so I don't know how to shut this off. Let's see. I guess right here. Okay. See you next time, guys.